Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something sick.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny, I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things. Of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
Okay. I'm curious how it went with that protector that you were connecting with last time.
Yeah, I was just reflecting on that a bit, noticing her popping up. I think I really enjoyed meeting her in more of her capacity as she can be in her, free of the burden, I guess is how you put it. And I suppose I made a commitment to check in every day, and I don't think that I've done that. I realize that I don't think I've had the time and space to do that in this period of time.
Sure.
And that's fine, but there's something really special for me in recognizing her presence, and I don't know, there's just been something really lovely about having her, understanding who she is, the role she plays, what her strengths are, what she offers, the value of her presence.
Yeah,
as
just having that possibility.
From me. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that and kind of, because I recognize that there was a part that was going, oh, this thinking all the time is too much, it's too hectic, I don't get to drop it, making her an enemy. And actually it's been good to reframe that.
All right. That's great.
Yeah, it really is. It's exciting, and this is, I find this with this work it's just super exciting to have, to look at yourself and your everything in a different way.
Yeah. Cool.
In a new way.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, where would you like to go today? Any parts you'd like to get to know better?
So in that minute of meditation, I could feel like a panic, I've got to get, I haven't even thought about where I want to go, and I want to get it right. And, that's that part that wants to do well, please the teacher.
Sure.
And also wants to kind of hold all the space and just get it all right and be across it all. So I guess that's maybe a good place to start.
It is, sure. That part is very welcome. Yeah.
Yeah. I what I'm saying is I didn't have a specific thing in mind to work with today.
Yeah.
So just go with what's there.
We can go with what's there. Another, another place to start can be to just think of, anything that's up for you, any kind of challenging, maybe or extreme emotion that you're dealing with kind of recently. So that's another way to kind of pick sometimes. But yeah, we can.
I listened to your session just in response to what you've just said. I listened to the session that you did with a professional. I can't remember her name, and you were
Emily
working
Kerperman?
I think that's right. And you were looking at. I'm not sure I listened to the whole thing, but health, and it was really. I did because it went into quite a complex kind of mapping and session, and so I suppose there's stuff for me around that it sparked something for me around just health and fitness, and so I suppose but I don't have a big calling for that in this moment. So I'm just trying to just slow down a bit so that I can.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what's coming up is the part that is wanting to get it right, is wanting to choose the perfect thing to work with and do the deepest healing and
yeah. Okay.
It feels like that's somewhere to start. So.
Okay. How do you notice it?
It's got a very hectic, fast dialogue. I'm slightly struggling with where it is in the body. So I've got this sense of, like when a dog's swimming and it's doing like frantic doggy paddle, like it's got that kind of energy.
Yeah.
And it doesn't land anywhere. It's really just frantically looking around, trying to get bearings, but it doesn't have any ground. It doesn't have any solid place to land. I suppose I would say, I was going to say, I suppose I would say it's in my head, kind of quite front of my forehead area.
Okay.
How do I feel towards it?
Yes.
I don't like it. I don't want it to be like that. I think it should go away.
Yeah. Seeing it as an obstruction to doing the work.
I'm judging it.
Yeah.
For being there and seeing it as wrong.
So see if you can turn towards that part that has the judgment of it. And you could just start by simply asking that part if it will give you space to work with it, if it will step back or soften back, and see how it responds.
Yeah, they often have a kind of, well, be my guest if you really want to go there. So I think it's saying yes to that invitation.
Okay. And with that judgmental, disliking step back, now how are you feeling towards that kind of panicking part?
I guess curious.
Anything else? Any other, parts that are, I don't know, standing in the way of that curiosity?
No, I think there's enough
Great.
curiosity there.
Okay. So do whatever you can to let that part know that you're curious about it. And then ask it what it wants you to know about it.
So I have a vision of a hummingbird.
Mm-hmm.
And it's saying, can't stop.
Okay.
So, okay, can I just ask you, can I take as much time as I need? Like, if it's a really long space, does that matter?
You mean like in responding to me?
Yes.
Be my guest. I mean, that in a lot of ways that makes my job easier, because I'm also often thinking of 5 different things I could say. So I love slow.
Yeah, it's something that I need. Yeah, I haven't. Yes, I like the idea of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hummingbird. Or did you say butterfly?
I said hummingbird. Just
yes.
That like non-stop beat of the wings. There's no let up.
Yeah. Okay,
and
you can let it know that you see that.
Okay. And then the images of a like exhausted face behind her. So the question is what it wants me to know?
Yes.
So the part that doesn't want to trust this process is coming up again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to chat to that bit for a second. I'm not sure if it's going to let me get past it.
Okay. And what are its concerns?
It doesn't trust you. It doesn't trust the work. It doesn't trust my ability to do this.
Fair enough.
It's pretty comprehensive.
Yeah. So there's me, there's the work, the process, and then there's
my
you.
Ability to work, to do the work. It doesn't believe in it. It doesn't believe anything. It doesn't believe anything that any of the parts are going to say. It thinks it's all made up. It thinks that I'm just making stuff up to answer the questions. But it's not real.
Ask it if it thinks it's made up.
It thinks it is made up as well.
That's interesting. So you might just kind of, again, let it know that you see that. You see it in that way. And in that it even has that skepticism or that doubt in itself.
It's deeply cynical, like it's got deep-rooted cynicism.
Yeah. Yeah. And is there emotion or behind that cynicism? I mean, is there fear, pain that it can show you about that?
It's very guarded. It feels very, very protective.
Yeah.
And I think when you said fear and pain, both of those sounded likely.
Yeah. And I also want to kind of apologize, if this part is not feeling trustful of me, then I feel like it doesn't have to answer to me. I just want to put that out there, and I apologize for not maybe treading more lightly there.
It really appreciated that.
Yeah.
So it's noticing our attention.
Yeah. And that's all this is. Just kind of addressing its concerns about the process. It's you attending to your inner experience.
Yeah, it's scared of something.
Yeah.
It's scared of being interfered with because it's really, really good at its job and it's been doing it for a while and it doesn't want anyone to mess things up.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And how does it see its job as serving you or yeah, how does its job help?
It's really noticing the attention, or it's really noticing that it's being listened to. It's kind of eased off a little bit because of that. Okay, sorry, what was the question?
When you say it's noticing and it's eased off, is that kind of like in a good way? It likes being noticed, or?
Yes. It's like it's relaxed.
Okay.
Itself a little bit, just because it recognizes that maybe we're not a risk.
Mm-hmm. And my question before that was, it had said that it's really good at its job. And I was just curious about kind of more about what that job looks like and how it sees its job in the system.
I think there's something around finding it hard to answer because it wants me to believe the answer. Where it's actually before been telling me not to trust the answer, so it's slightly conflicted because its role has been to deny.
Yeah, sounds
the
like
answers.
It sounds like a very difficult place to be.
So I'm telling it that I see that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's asking again for the question. What is its job within the system? Is that right?
Yeah. What's it good for? It has this very important job that it does. It says. And why? Why does it do that? What is it serving?
Because no, you can't trust anyone.
Okay.
No one can be trusted.
Mm-hmm.
And so it makes sure that I trust no one.
All right.
So it sees itself as having a very critical, important role.
Yeah, and protective.
Very protective.
Yeah. And you might already know the answer to this, but you could ask what it's afraid of happening if it didn't work so hard. What would happen if you were trusting of people?
Too risky, too much vulnerability, too much potential for hurt.
Yeah. And that all makes sense to you?
Yes.
Me too. So see if you can just show it some appreciation for its intention. And it is a serious job that it does.
It's a bit nervous about listeners, potential listeners, like beyond you.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. So I'll just remind all parts that if we don't need to publish this, and we don't need to publish, we can cut out parts, we can cut out all. I'm happy to do the work. And we can also cut out me. I mean, this part has, as skepticism around me, like the work is between you and your parts. So that's what we want to preserve and encourage more than anything.
It really appreciates that offering. It feels a bit safer now. I've forgotten where we were.
How are you being with the part now?
I'm noticing it. It's because at first it was really kind of occupying a lot of my body. I recognized it was like force field around my whole body almost, and yellow. And I suppose just sitting in that energy, the energy of it. And just being with it. Yeah, I'm just sitting in presence with it.
You could try asking what it would rather be doing if it didn't have to work so hard to protect you in that way.
It doesn't know anything else
Mm-hmm.
at this point.
And how old does it think that you are?
3.
Okay. So you can update it with your real age. And if it feels right with you, you could, kind of linger on that. Why 3? What was going on there? Why did it need to become activated? Again, none of this needs to be shared with me.
Mm-hmm. It's saying it recognized that I was alone and that it needed to show up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not getting any sort of memory or
Mm-hmm.
images or anything. It's just it's quite blank.
Yeah.
It's a bit of pain just came in my heart.
Okay.
A kind of tightening pain in my heart.
Yeah. You could ask this part if it would be okay with you investigating that pain more.
Mm. There is a willingness, but it's cautious.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's and I'm curious to
Okay.
do that.
Yeah. And it can jump in anytime. And of course you can back out anytime with any step in this process.
Thank you.
So noticing that pain around the heart. You said that came up when you just mentioned about that being alone, the concern that this protective part had.
Yeah.
Do you notice anything else about that?
It's very scared.
Yeah.
It's very, very young.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of nebulous, it has a non-form sense about it.
Okay. Just let it know that you see that it's scared. That you're only there to learn about it.
Okay. It didn't realize there was anyone else around.
Hmm.
So it's sort of a bit surprised, but a bit pleased.
Yeah. Yeah, you might just want to hang out in that space of introducing yourself. So the more you're noticing about it.
Like sea anemones, the ones that clownfish live in, and they have that sort of tentacly, really soft, and I think if you touch it, it will retract in.
Right.
So it's sort of like that.
Yeah.
Like really, hardly any form, but very guarded, and just feels super alone.
Yeah. Well, that's
very
good
scared.
to know. Yeah. You can just let it know that it doesn't have to do anything or respond in any way. It can just show up however it wants.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm just going to sit here with you.
Yeah.
Nothing needs to be done.
Right.
It's very tender.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of parts that are having a bit of a problem with me being here.
With this part being here?
With me being this close to this part.
Sure.
Me having got here. Yeah.
Yeah, and we should probably address them because, there are usually multiple protectors around parts like this.
Yeah,
and,
feels like it.
And they're all just as important and probably just as energized as the one that led us here.
Yeah.
So we may have skipped past them.
It's interesting, James, because what I'm getting is like there's a sense of that we skipped past them, and that they're like, fuck, how did we get here? How did anyone end up being this close? And then there's also, I don't know if this makes sense, but there's a kind of relief, kind of like a collective sigh of relief as well, because everyone's so tired.
Right.
And they do trust that, I don't know if it's true or not, but they can see me.
Right. Right. Yep.
It feels really important that there's not a lot of digging.
Mm-hmm.
Just that the being in presence is kind of just enough right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think that's what the work is. It's going and being with parts and seeing what comes up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a sense of us sitting around in a circle, protective parts, and I, and me, and everyone's just kind of watching each other.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a way of building trust too with all of them, of just being upfront, being direct, kind of transparent with them that you're not going to push past their concerns. And that your relationship with them is just as important as your relationship with these other more vulnerable parts.
The cynical, non-trusting part is sort of sharing with them that this is okay.
Yeah.
And they have faith in him, seems to be male.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's been the main gatekeeper for this kind of stuff.
Exactly right. So they have played roles, but she's just this one at the middle is beautiful. She's like, you know, those pictures from Hubble telescope?
Yes.
She's got that kind of quality of light and color, but in that kind of gaseous, flowing way.
I bet she's
what I'm talking about.
Infinitely faceted.
Oh, she likes being seen like that. I have a part that's coming in and it's saying that I'm not doing it right.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like with the last session, when I went to the thinking part, I was able to access her sort of good qualities, if you want to say it like that, like the parts, like what the role that she could play.
Yes.
I was able to access that relatively easily. And then in this case, I'm getting a sense of this little part in its true form. And so this part is saying that I'm doing it wrong because I shouldn't be able to do that.
You shouldn't be able to
get to their true qualities. So like that I'm skipping a part, that I'm skipping over the shit, you know, the kind of difficulty, the burden.
Sure.
And missing that part, which it believes is critical.
Yeah. Well, this part is still a vulnerable part that has fear and pain, right?
Yeah. And has been in a protected place for a very long time. So,
and any amount of you getting to know that, I mean, you wouldn't skip that. That's why it's exiled, right?
Yeah.
So you can think that part, but yeah, I mean, you can see the beauty and the sadness in this part all at once.
It feels there's another maybe itself that recognizes the value and importance of just residing with it in its truth, in one of its true states, you know.
Yep.
There's something that's important and beautiful about that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to talk to that other part that thinks I'm getting it wrong. So I'm just saying I really, really hear its concerns and value what it's saying. And I'm reassuring it that I'm not in any way intending to skip over anything. Just
right.
And I recognize the importance of recognizing what those.
Yes.
What is it burdens? Is that the right? Like, is that
sure burdens? Yeah, pains.
Pain. The pain and the layers of historical pain and sadness that's there.
And as you can see, you know, with the part that is so intricate, it's a lifetime of of getting to know parts like this. It will have all kinds of things to share with you, memories, directions and ideas and creativity, and it's endless. So
Do you
there
mean
isn't
that it takes a lifetime, it will take a lifetime to get to know it, or that there's a lifetime's worth of it to get to know now?
I think for the former, that if you think of it maybe like a child, like,
Yeah.
you know, it's, yeah, there's always a new story. There's always a new, it's a living thing in you that has its own perspective and wants and pains, and those change and evolve. And I'm only saying any of that just to go back to, let's not skip over the bad stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, well, again, self-leadership, I believe, is getting in touch with these parts so that you have that lifelong connection of understanding all aspects of them.
Yeah. Yes, so the goal, if you like, is to occupy self enough to be able to do that. So right now, I think I'm just sort of, I feel like I'm just sitting in self. I think that's
Yeah, I would say so. One of the ways that I know that is that you're taking the right steps. You're taking the steps in your system that are completely responsive, they're compassionate, they're curious. I'm not guiding you. I haven't been for 20 minutes. It's like that's how we know that you're in self. And all of these parts are responding. I mean, they might have their objections, but you're able to address all of them. You're able to get to a better place with all of them, with every part.
Feels really nice.
Yeah.
Spacious. There's no one shouting at me internally.
Right. Yeah.
It's not too much noise.
Yeah.
It's usually a lot of noise. How are we doing time-wise? Oh, yeah.
I don't have a time limit, so I'll let you decide. And I'm also, I'm avoiding asking questions because I'm, you and your system had talked about not digging.
I'm happy if you have questions. So,
yeah. Well, I'll just offer kind of, whether you do that now or later or next time or whenever, that kind of a next step is exactly what that protective part was saying, is coming to know the fears of this part and really getting to understand that so that it trusts you. It needs you to witness its experience and its pain.
And how do I do that?
Well, so you would get into this state, and then you would ask that part those questions. You would ask it to show you what hurts, what it's been like for it, in any way that it wants. And just let it know that you really want to understand.
It's sort of, I was just saying that I really have all the time in the world for it, and that there's no rush, and that I'm here for it, for everything. And she just kind of nestled in, she just kind of,
Yeah.
It's almost the position that she's always in, but it felt the energy is different. So before it was curled up, fetal against the world, but this is more like kind of nestled up in me somehow. And that there's a part that wants to kind of get on with it, like do the work and say, come on, we're here, we're in the state, let's go. But I really, really recognize that it's not now. That it's enough to have just made contact, to show presence, to show that I'm not a risk.
Right.
And that
you'll be able to get back
really
to this
slowly.
place.
Yeah, that other part is fearful that, that this is it. Our one chance, it's saying.
Right. Yeah, I get that a lot with my own system.
Okay. That's good to know.
It's like I have pencil and paper if needed.
Yeah. We know what to do. And
I mean, you mentioned the mapping. You mentioned the mapping earlier, and it's like for some that's very helpful to kind of externalize them. And I mean, I'll put parts on my calendar to revisit.
This is very new work for me. I'm just really starting off, so it doesn't need to be rushed.
Yeah, you're doing excellent. I mean, really made so much inroads.
Yeah,
and have met and communicated with so many parts.
Yeah, it's so great. I just love it so much. It's such amazing work. Okay, thank you, James.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, and stay in that place with that part as long as you like. Maybe before you hang up with any of those parts, just thank them. Let this part know, this young one, that you will be back, that you will continue that work of understanding it. And you can even negotiate little things like, what would it like for you to is there a part it would like, for you to leave behind or something? I mean, there's all kinds of ways of kind of keeping that connection alive, even when you're stepping away from that world.
It's just she and actually the other parts are all just really grateful for the rest, like having a little rest from their usual occupation, busyness.
Yeah. Well,
Everyone's been working so hard.
That's right. That's the normal. That's normal, right? That's typical.
Yeah.
We're all in that place until we get into self energy and
That's
start
right.
being able to lead from there.
Small steps. Okay. Thank you, James.
Okay. Thank you so much. Hope to hear
See
from
you
you again
next time.
soon.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows? That might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube. And they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.